Hello everyone, welcome back to D1 Crashout. I'm adding a subtitle or a notion, a caption of pet peeves because this is something that genuinely bothers me, and I think more people should be bothered by it. And it's when people put others down for having a passion or earnestly liking something that other people do not deem to be valuable. I think there is a place for judgment in society, and that is for reinforcing the norm. If somebody is in public streaking, we should judge them. They deserve to be judged. Within my friend group in college, we had one friend, not one guy who always switches up when the girls are around. And that's fine until, you know, you start treating them a certain way. And that's what the judgment is for. And I don't know if this is a particularly Cali thing where we're just scared of confrontation, but people will just watch it happen and then just judge you behind closed doors. I had a big high school experience where you are in a position of leadership and people are going to judge you. That's part of the job, but it won't happen to your face. And on one hand, it sucks to know what people think about you, but on the other hand, it's nice to know what people think about you. It helps you become a better person because you have the opportunity to look at that feedback and say, hey, this is actually some good feedback. I'm going to internalize this and try to be better. Or, I don't like you as a person. I don't like that feedback at all. I'm going to reconsider the way that I see you as an individual. And I think that we can benefit from being a little bit more honest. There is an extreme to this where people are too honest and say things out of pocket when they really don't need to. And drawing that line is a skill where you need to know when to be right and why to be right. And this comes down to one of my favorite analogies that I've heard recently from Carter. And it was along the lines of make your life, your interactions a win-win. If there is somebody that you earnestly do not like and there is no benefit to you hanging out with them, then why would you hang out with them? Because that's all you got? Be comfortable with being alone. Be okay with not being accepted by others. I think this is a uniquely crash out startup thing, but if you want to make something innovative or new, you need to make something that is not safe. If you want to embark on your own journey, you need to take the brunt of that risk yourself. Getting used to taking accountability for your actions, developing the respect of your peers off of your own actions, and developing rewards from taking risks is all a part of the process. Yes, you're going to worry about risk management. You're going to have anxieties and worries and think, maybe I'm not cut out for this, or maybe this was too tall a task, or I don't really see how this is going to work out. You find it hard to believe in, and it's very difficult to start. And that's okay. I have other videos and other ideas on ways that you can tackle that, or at least things to think about. But the bottom line is, I strongly encourage people to actually do things that they are interested in. Especially, and I didn't put AP Crashout on this, when you go to college and you have to choose what you do with the rest of your life. Do things that you actually enjoy. That shouldn't be such a difficult thing to say, but there is this balance that people are forced to have where you have something that you really badly want to do and you have something that is profitable. I think we are mistaking something that is a passion with a loving every single piece and every single part of it. I can say confidently that I have these gaming stores back up and I don't want to actually start editing the videos. I love the finished product. I love when I am working on something and I make it and I record it with my friends and I get all excited about making the video, and then when it comes time to sit down and edit the video and I finally picked all the clips after watching 4 hours of footage, I realize I do not love this part of the process, and that is completely normal. There is difficulty when you try to reach for something that you actually don't know how you're going to feel about it. A lot of people do stuff because other people tell them it is the right thing to do. A lot of people feel like they should want a certain thing. I think the pitch for my generation was you go through school, You study hard, you get straight A's, you eventually go to high school, find something that you're really passionate in, you explore that while also still getting the good grades, you balance a lot of things, you get busy, you go to college, you do it all over again. In college, you pick a major that you're really interested in, you find one that's also profitable, and then once you leave college, you just automatically get a job, and everything is beautiful and shit's sweet. And that's just not how it is. And that was what was pitched to us, and that is not the reality that we are currently facing. So, yes, it is sweet, it's nice, it's a cool idea in general, but it's just might not be reality. There's a statistic out there that says that the more times that you switch your major, the more likely you are to actually use that major as your job. A lot of people will find out that the thing that they learned in college is not going to be directly applicable to their field of interest, but it is going to help them with the learning process because there is going to be learning in everything that you do. People very rarely are job ready. You are ready to learn the job, you are not job ready. That being said, it becomes a lot easier to do the things that other people tell you to do when you feel like you wanted to do them in the first place. And actually finding out that you enjoy the things that you want to do once you get there is kind of the whole point. I personally have struggled with people around me, and you may be in a relationship, get into a relationship with someone, and you think they know everything they want, and they've had troubled relationships before. And then once you give somebody everything they want, they realize that it wasn't enough, or they didn't even want it in the first place. They just thought they wanted it and never could get it, and they love the chase. And that's going to happen. And same thing is what happened to Jim Tang with his job. Everybody told him that it was the love that would be in Fang, and to be really good at your job, and to get that job, and then you're happy forever. And that just didn't work out for him. And it's a difficult thing to face. It's a difficult subject to say, I can put all my hard work in something, I could really believe in something, and I don't know if other people told me to believe in it, and therefore I accepted that gaslighting, or if I truly believe in it, and I actually wanted to do this thing on my own accord. You just aren't going to find out, but at least being aware of it, and thinking about it, and working against it, is what is going to separate you from letting yourself do something that you hate. And this, again, comes from a position of privilege for people who are able to choose. At a certain point, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you get all your basic necessities, and then, only then, can you want more. People who are hungry just want food. People who are cold and sad just want to be happy and have shelter and be warm. Once you have the shelter and you're warm and you're happy and you have all those good things, you want purpose. You want something to do. You want passions. You want entertainment. You want enjoyment. That is how Maslow's hierarchy of needs works, and it is a great descriptor for our life. People love the journey. The whole point is the never-ending journey, which sounds daunting, but the love of life is in the way you live it, not just living and then dying, right? So I'm not here to tell you how to live your life or what your purpose for living is, but what I am going to tell you is that it should be more normalized to do the things that you love. Right now in the tech world, everybody and their mom is starting a startup. And there are two ways to motivate you for a startup that people believe are good business models. You are Steve Jobs, you genuinely believe in your product, you are harsh, you're going to do whatever it takes in order to make your product as good as it can be for your perceived clientele. Or you're the CEO of Oracle, or founder, I should say, and you know that you're going to get a crap ton of money if you build this option. I think there's a certain point where you look at anyone and you say, you know what, if there is enough money involved, I do not mind if you treat me terribly. And frankly, I genuinely believe in that. Money is power, and enough power will give me 10 lashings worth of abuse. So, something to think about. But the bottom line is, I don't think we should be putting people down just because we don't believe whatever they are doing is worthwhile. Look at this. As a passion project, for example, I'm talking to nobody. I'm talking to an audience. I'm watching myself play Fortnite in post, and I'm talking to a blank screen. And I'm telling you that this gives me fulfillment, and this makes me happy. I'm spending time away from machine learning research. I got into another research cohort recently. I could be preparing for that and actually cold emailing professors. I run 2 clubs. I could be making those clubs run more efficiently during my summer, but I decided that I wanted to talk blankly to a camera to nobody in order to get my thoughts and feelings out. And that is where my passion's at. And I want to make videos because they make me happy. And that should be normalized. Yes, you can face the judgment. I can sit down and somebody can tell me, hey, you are doing this thing and it's not going to get you any money and there's no worth in anything that you do. It's okay to think like that. Somewhere in the world, you are thinking hustle, 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 and then I can finally relax and enjoy life. What I have been taught growing up is that even though you have this beautiful life that you want to live and develop, and yes, you should go after it because time is your greatest resource, the moment that you live in is also finite and it's so unique. And being able to capture these memories and these moments and have something to look back on really, truly helps you appreciate the life that you have lived. And I don't think that gets put enough stress. We love the Instagram. We love to document moments when we are in high energy and we're going to a cool place, and a lot of people would place a lot of social value on going to Japan or Korea or Italy, all those good things. But at the end of the day, the mundane, your day-to-day, the friends that you might go on those journeys with, or those moments of peace and quiet where you really got to think for yourself and enjoy the moment, those just might be the things that you wish you captured a little bit more of. That essence, that raw nature of it, that genuine attachment that so many people are seeking nowadays, and instead get the impression of genuine attachment or something that is real. It's all so perturbed. But the bottom line is, you cannot have somebody tell you, this is getting back on a previous crash out about victimization, you should take charge of your life. Realize that you are in control and do the things that you enjoy. And if you do not have the cognitions to recognize that this is something that you might enjoy, then you take that leap of faith, like so many people do. You take that job, you take on some new task, you take on some new challenge like this, and you ask yourself if I sincerely, genuinely enjoy the stuff that I'm doing once you start. Because you'll only know how you feel once you start the journey. I did track and field. I used to piss my pants at the start of every single race. I would be so nervous. And then you just race. And all of those nerves go away and you're just running. And you're just enjoying it for the love of the game. Same thing with soccer, when you just get in the zone. And that's kind of the story that I want to tell you guys. It's that once you start something, you actually figure out how you feel about it. And yes, it's easy to judge. It's easy to take your perceived value and push that onto other people and say, hey, this thing is not valuable, this is not worth your time. It's easy to tell other people how to live as an outsider looking in. But you don't know how they feel. And you don't know how that thing makes them feel. And it's not your right nor your place to tell them how to feel. I believe that in every area of life. I work with kids. I cannot tell them that the stuff that they're doing is important or worthwhile or meaningful. That's a decision that I let them make. If it's more interesting for them to stare at their phone and stare into space, that's their parents' job to tell them and give them that core value system, but not me. And same thing goes for your friends. You can't control how they feel about you, what they think about you. If they feel like they're worth your time, you can just try to be the best version of yourself. Like, control the controllables. So that's another way of saying you should just do the things that you enjoy. Do the things that make you happy. Fortunately for me, my value of self-worth happens to align with what I believe I should be. And that sense of self-respect is what allows me to look at myself in the morning, even though you have so much history of people who do not like you or people who do not believe in you, you still find yourself in positions of leadership because you believe in you at the bottom line. And that is more important than anything. I can say that I have a great support group at home and they support me sincerely, but they are not going to write my research papers. They are not going to fill out my classes and sign me up and connect with my professors and network. That's all you, uniquely you. And these are things that I enjoy. And that might not be true for everyone. Some people might really like the idea of money, but the way that they have to get there might not be to their liking. And that's part of life. Right? I already talked about it, but I really like the subject matter and really hate taking tests in college or high school. And that just sucks. And it's hoops that we have to go through. Ways that were easier for somebody else to judge us and measure our intelligence. And competition is not going anywhere. Optimization, not going anywhere. Universal truths, basically, because we're in a capitalist economy. If you couldn't tell, I live in America. And the bottom line is, despite all of those things, all of those feelings of your self-worth and your value being related to a profit, to a number, to what other people believe is best for you, it is within your best interest to do the things that you love. Things that make you happy, things that increase your self-respect, things that genuinely you can look back on and say, I did this and I thought it was best for me in the moment and it made me happy. Those are the things that are worth doing. And do not let anybody tell you that you should not. That it's not the case. That the things that you love doing suck. A little bit of perspective, but there are so many people out there living different lives with different value systems than you. Historically speaking, people get into wars because their value systems might be different. It's something to think about, that people that you might consider terrible and terrorists have people who love them at home. And that is purely a matter of perspective. Things that are messed up is a societal construct. Divides between men and women are predominantly a societal construct. If you want my spiel on it, men and women. Men run on a diurnal hormonal clock, which influences their mood and their decision making. Women naturally have periods. And men have higher bone densities, muscle development, generally are taller and have better cardiovascular health. Women generally have more flexible hips and wider bone structure, a little bit lighter on the bones. So some of those aerobic activities, they gain power through the hips and also flexibility there. So the squats, the deadlifts might be a little bit better for women than men. But all those other cognitive traits, there's no strong correlation saying that men are more logical thinkers and women are more emotional thinkers. Like, I think women have better color sensing abilities, and then also better, I think it was better face recognition. I actually forget. I'm talking out of my ass now. But we're getting off track. The bottom line is people aren't so different. And most of the divides that we experience as individuals are social or cultural, which means they're made up in another sense, right? And think, oh, all language is made up. There's some truth to that. And just because you see things a certain way and you have a certain set of value systems doesn't mean that another person has that. What makes me happy might be gooning in the morning. And to you, you're like, oh, that makes me really tired. And, oh, it's really gross and I regret it after. But other people, they might not see it that way. And sure, you can enforce that on them. That, hey, you shouldn't goon every morning. That's messed up. Just fine. But also, it doesn't really matter. At least as long as they are not intruding you. They might be insulting you with their words. But as long as the actions are uniquely their own, I think it's okay. I like to say, life philosophy in time, that do the things that you enjoy as long as you're not hurting other people. A lot of people feel entitled, saying that if I have an opinion behind closed doors, then I am indirectly hurting the people who are just trying to live their lives, right? Feeding into that mass hysteria. The reality behind that is iffy, right? To say that because one person has a certain opinion that they're going to spread it to a bunch of other people, and then those people are choosing to believe it. That ties into ideas where people lack individualism. People want to be accepted. They want to be normal. They want to follow the curve. And that is a problem with people, not necessarily with the idea. I can be crazy and say that coffee is terrible for you and you should never drink coffee. And that can be uniquely my own idea. And no one has to believe me. Because you have the free will to choose what you believe and don't believe. So, bottom line is, you're in control. Do the things that you love. And never take everything with a grain of salt. Your world, your perspective, your differences are uniquely your own. I think I went a little bit over time. I low-key got distracted and went on a tangent about things that weren't very related to what I was supposed to be talking about. Do the things that you love. Live a happy life.